And Ned, let's just, for a good government exercise here, under the theory that bright lights are the best disinfectant for a smear, let's shine some Klieg lights on the Republican attempts at smearing Colonel Vindman. There was a line of questioning early this morning about, weren't you offered a job high up in the Ukrainian government? The suggestion being really picking up the ball where Laura Ingraham and former DOJ official John Yoo left off when they questioned some conversations Colonel Vindman had in Ukrainian with some of his counterparts there. Just take on the attempts, and if you thought it was effective with anyone other than the kinds of voters you'd think Donald Trump really had locked up at this point.
You know, I think one of the Democratic members had it right. Just because it was cloaked in parliamentary language in a Brooks Brothers suit doesn't make it any less shameful. And that's precisely what it was. You know, when I heard that anecdote for the first time, which was today, I just assumed it was basically a joke on the part of the Ukrainian official. He was talking to someone with ties, familial ties to his own country, probably very proud of someone who had gone on to do great things in the American government. And was probably just putting forth in a manner of jest. The fact that it was brought up in this way, and in the context of, well, were you speaking Ukrainian? How many times did they ask you? What did you do? Did you report this to anyone? It was nothing but a smear. And it wasn't a very good one at that. But, you know, we saw this sort of split screen today. Just as Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, clad in his military uniform, was testifying before Congress, the White House used an official White House Twitter account to further this smear and to call into question his judgments, as you see right there. The fact that the White House Twitter account was smearing a member of the White House staff, a member of the National Security Council staff, smearing a patriot who has bled for this country, an active duty Army officer, and doing so using American taxpayer dollars. I think that, Nicolle, is just, it really highlights the stakes, and it really highlights the lengths and the depths to which this president and his defenders, to include his defenders in Congress, will go to score political points.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.